Good morning. In this video, I'm gonna solve both the Bucktooth Bunny challenge and the Funky Frog challenge so that we can talk a little bit more about variables. I did some of this in class on Zoom, but let me go through it and I'll actually do it until the end. So in this challenge, they want us to make a variable that controls the size of the bunny's eyes so that we can easily control how big or how small the eyes are. So if I want to change the size of the eyes right now, I'd have to go to line 8 or 9 because those are the two lines that draw the left and right eye. If you see in the ellipse command, it takes 4 parameters. The first two are the x and y coordinates. The third one is the width of the ellipse, and the last one is the height of the ellipse. So if I want to change the size, I would change the last two numbers. So let's make the left eye 20 pixels wide and 20 pixels high. So you can see that it's much bigger than the right eye, and let's do the same for the right eye here. Okay, so to change the size of the eyes, I needed to change 4 numbers. The width and the height in the left eye, the width and the height in the right eye. So instead of doing all that, we would just create a variable, call it eye size, and set it to 20. But that's not enough. Creating this variable doesn't actually do anything, and it doesn't matter that we named it eye size. It's not going to control the eye size unless we replace the parameters here, the constants, the 20s, with variables. So instead of 20, I used the variable eye size, which basically means the ellipse has a width of whatever the value of the variable is. So if I increase this, you can see the width and the height are both getting larger and smaller. Okay? In the next step, you can see that the teeth are drawn as rectangles, and the last number of the rectangle, so left tooth, right tooth here, this last number controls the length, or the height of the rectangle. So again, they want us to create a variable that stores the height of the teeth, and they want them to be the same. So I'm going to say var teeth height equals, right now it's at, the long one is at 37. So I can do that. And then I need to replace only the height this time, not both, because we only want to make them longer. We don't want to make the teeth any wider. Okay? So we're done here. Let's move on to the Funky Frog challenge. In this challenge, we're going to use variables again to create a mouth, and later on we're going to create pupils for the frog. But we're going to use the variables in a more advanced way. You can see that to draw this basic shape of a frog, they used 5 circles, 2 for the eyes, 2 for the eye sockets, and then 1 for the face. And so notice that if I just change this x variable, the whole frog moves. Not just the face, not just the eye sockets or eyeballs. And so notice that they used x in every single shape that they have. They used both x and y. So the face had the original x and y coordinates. The left eye socket had x minus 50, which means wherever the face is, the eye socket is going to be 50 pixels to the left, if we're talking about the left eye socket, and the right eye socket is 50 pixels to the right. Okay? And that's the reason why the whole face can move, or the whole frog can move together, and they don't move separately. Now what we need to do is create the mouth. So to create the mouth, I'm just going to start down here. I'm going to say ellipse. I'm just going to say xy, because it's going to be, xy is going to be at the center of the face. xy, and I don't know what size yet, so I'm just going to say 50-50. And we can see here that we made a mouth, sure. But they want the color to be black, so let me add that, fill, and then choose black. And then it says, the warning here says, the mouth is too small, try changing the width. So, this controls the width. I'm going to make it a little bit wider until they're happy there. All right. In the next step, and actually before I move on, I'm going to add comments here. I'm going to say mouth color and actual mouth shape. I'm just going to say mouth. That way I know exactly what these lines are for. If I want to change anything later, I can go back directly here. Now they want me to add rectangles. You can see that, that the pupils are rectangles. And so I'm just going to start by adding the one rectangle here. I'm going to call this the left pupil. And I'm going to put it exactly where the left eye socket is, or the left eyeball is, right? So I'm going to say x minus 50. So x minus 50, y minus 50. Let's put spaces here. And then let's say I'll do the same size even, 40, 40. So there's a square here, but it's a little bit too big. So I'm going to make it 10, 10. And there, it fits perfectly. Notice that it's not centered in the middle of the eye socket, and that's because whenever we say we give a position for a rectangle, that's the position of the top left corner of the rectangle, not the center of the rectangle. But if we do that with an ellipse, then you're actually determining the position of the center of the ellipse. That's why the square isn't centered on the eye pupil, even though the eyeball, even though we gave them the same coordinates. And then for the left pupil, for the right pupil, I'm going to do the same exact thing, except, as you can see here, the right eyeball has x plus 50 as the x coordinate because it has to be past the center here. So it's after the center, whereas the left eye socket is before the center. So I'm just going to change that here. And that's it. We're done with both steps of the challenge and with both the bucktooth and the funky frog challenge. Okay? The next lesson is all about animation. And when we're doing animations, we're basically using an infinite loop. While you're watching the videos, notice their use of the draw function. This is a built-in function in Khan Academy. So we're not going to consider it a function that you create. This just means that it's going to loop infinitely, but it's going to wait a certain time between each loop. That way it's going to look like things are moving as if you're creating a flip book or anything like that. Okay? I'll let you try these challenges on your own, and I'll talk a bit about them in class and in next week's video. All right? Good luck, and I'll see you on Zoom. Bye.